Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is TDT coming back at you with another video. So, I hope everyone had a very profitable week. I hope you had a great weekend of relaxing, studying, preparing for the coming week. I hope that you guys have been doing well, sticking to your trading discipline, and knocking the points out of these markets. I hope you guys are staying focused and not allowing, outside noise to come and influence your trading decisions. You know what I'm talking about? So, a little housekeeping before I begin my analysis. I just want to say that I was really excited 2026, and I may have gotten in just a little bit over my head with what I wanted to deliver this year. I was hoping that I could hit y'all with a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday, like back to back to back with the analysis. And I'm just being honest, I got in a little over my head. I'm not going to be able to produce at that volume. I want to take my time and ease my way into it. As I always say, I'm still operating a full business on the side. I also have another digital media business that I also manage. And, the time in a day, 24 hours, is just not do everything I want to do. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to dial back. I'm going to stick with US dollar, S&P 500, and Nasdaq moving forward, okay? I trade the Nasdaq daily, whether I'm working in a demo account, in my live account, or if I'm trading with prop firms. Nasdaq is my asset of choice. But I'm not going to be able to hit you with those daily updates and analysis the way I really wanted to. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it in the future, but I need to kind of work my way up into that kind of delivery, okay? So let's get into what we were looking for this week. We talked about dollar. Let's start here with the dollar. Okay, so we got dollar here, right? And let's jump into the weekly. We'll have a better look at what we are anticipating. So this would have been Monday's price action here. So on Friday, we ended here. And I was saying we want to see if price can get to this liquidity zone here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was monitoring this area to see. Like if you look on Thursday, it gave a very deceptive candle in my eyes. This is tough a lot of times. It was Thursday and it went up and it rejected this FEG. It's the body's closed right there. Consequent encroachment. What would have given a lot of, I'm sorry. Would have given me more of a bearish outlook. But it was NFP. And I was in NFP protocol, which means I did not even bother trading on Friday, and I dialed it back on Thursday. My last trade that I took this week was on Wednesday. I've been doing this for quite a few years, and you just learn over time that sometimes you just need to step away from what's going on, allow things to smooth out, allow the direction to become a bit more clear, in the markets to become a bit more clean in its delivery. So looking at this here, you notice that NFP broke that structure and it closed in that gap. But what I want to look at, this is why you always want to go up one. Like right here, if you look at this alone, it's kind of like in no man's land a little bit if you're not familiar with some of the deeper concepts. For instance, you may not cut through candles, so you may not see certain things. Okay, that is the way I'm able to always be aware of where we're at and where we're potentially going. I can read the candles. Okay, so if we look on this weekly chart here, what I'm looking at is how we've entered into this inversion gap here on a weekly, and there's another little gap right here. This FEG right here we're looking at this week. I want to see price is probably going to pull into that going into Monday, Tuesday, tapping into that. I want to see if it does the same thing it did on this daily here. This is things I'm looking for. How it just closes it in completely, or if we get a rejection and then it pulls back And with this going up into this gap, although for a few months DXY and indexes, they've been moving in tandem, when a lot of times we want to see them diverge and go in uncorrelated direction, meaning if dollars going up, indexes are going down, but sometimes they do move together. This also in connection with bonds, which is something else that I look at. But if I was to get into bonds, these would be 30-minute videos, which I don't think most of the viewers right now care enough about what I'm saying to listen to a 30-minute video. But I want to build my way into that as I get my credibility, as I build up my credibility with you guys, okay? So that's what I'm kind of doing, building up credibility, going through my process, and it helps me a bit just going through the process as well. So I'm watching this week. I want to see what happens with that little gap there, and also this inversion gap. I believe that we're going to tap in, because that would take the liquidity from the week of, this is December 8th. First week in December, I think that is. Let me see. No, that's the second week in December. So we may take that and then fall, which would give indexes some room to keep going up. So let's jump into ES right now, and you can see that ES did show that bullish action that we were anticipating. So here we were on Friday. So when I did the weekly projection last week, we were down here, and I told you about this gap, and I'm saying we're looking for this bullish action. Now, I learned something this week. We learn something every week, and I want to talk more about it. I'm probably going to talk more about it on my blog, because I see so much opportunity, and I'm learning about new opportunities that I think will be very beneficial. But I always want to have data before I share. So, you know, with this here, we're just looking at it, studying together, and seeing what we see. I'll talk more about that as time goes on. So you see, Monday we came straight out of that gap. We had another update on Tuesday with a retracement on Wednesday and Thursday, coming back into this gap here. Remember I said to watch these areas. I want to see what happens in these areas. I wanted to see if it would have stayed bearish, but I want you to look at something. It goes here, right? On Tuesday, for me personally, it closes in below both of those gaps. I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going on. I'm tongue twisting and stuff. But I wanted to show y'all something. It closes in this gap and that gap, the two gaps that I was watching on Tuesday. So by Wednesday and Thursday, when they move back into those gaps, that's the opportunity to catch the inversion for a long. Now, the reason I would not have done that is because it was NFP. But even with NFP, look how clean this price action is. Look as it dips in the body stay up right here on that gap as it inverts. Stuff that you need to monitor, okay? This video is getting too long. Let's go into Nasdaq. Take a quick look at what we see here. So Nasdaq, I was a little more iffy on when I looked at it, because it seems, it's clear that price is bullish, but we were having a fallback retracement at this time, and we were in this area. But you can see this area that we're in is not as clean as the S&P 500. I was looking at the way this gap here at this time, it had already put a body below that gap, and that's what made me iffy. But if you're cutting through the candles like I showed you guys on that same video, then you would see that that's consequent encroachment of that gap right there. Now, the creator of these things will probably have a name for all this stuff. I don't have names and gimmicks. I'm just looking at what I see price doing, and I'm learning as time goes through my own experience. And I believe that's the best way to learn, but it does take time. You can do something. You can stick to one thing, not learn all of the different intricacies, and just make money with just one method. That's what a lot of you should be doing. That's not what I'm doing. I want to learn how to read these candles at a very high level. So I'm in here every day honing my skills. So at this point here, I'm looking at how right now price is back in this gap. We have not closed that gap as yet. So this week, I want to take a look, and I just showed you on ES, do we push above and then return back to this gap this week? And this is what I want to see on Wednesday. And if we do get that price moving, if it doesn't just fall down straight away, like it's gonna fall through the early part of the week, like I was saying, with Dixie going up, this should go down unless they move in tandem, like they move the same way again. But it either moves down or it pushes up, gives us a new all-time high this week, returns back to this gap, at which time we will be hunting for longs to continue this bullish movement. Okay, price already shown itself that it wants to be bullish, but we need to get above this gap in my mind. So that's what I'm looking for at the beginning of the week. And you guys have a great one. Okay, let me know if this was informative, if it helps, if I was all over the place. It's way longer than I wanted to be. I apologize. I'm trying to get better. Please bear with me. So I'm wishing you the best. Have a profitable week. And this is TDT signing out. Y'all be safe. Peace.